This is Between Hook Sets. I'm Jason Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the Fishing Crew. Yeah, well, okay, there's the first snafu. Well, so it said live, and then it went back to go live. I'm like, oh no, am I going to have to start it all over again? So just as I hit pause to bring it back and start it all over again, it decided, nope, we are going to be live. So all of a sudden, here we are, live again, and in living color. And I forgot to turn Benny's chair around. Benny is he's busy tonight.
He's out
so
Valentine's Day.
Yep, got a lot of things going on. So the show is not going to be taped in front of a live Benny studio, but or audience, but. You know, that's all right. We've got a guest. We're kind of pulling her away from our, everybody's Valentine's night tonight. I'm sure a lot of people have love on their mind and they have a lot of things going on. So I'm excited about our guest. She's actually the first female that we've had on the show. And I'll tell you what, she does everything. So I met her a while back through Stephanie Lawson. And great gal. And these two are a crazy pair. And I'm excited to introduce her. So we will bring her in and we'll spend a little bit of time with Amy Munsinger. Amy, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us on a Valentine's night. I honestly, in my head, we had a couple of young bass anglers that are tournament winners doing very well. We wanted to be timely with them, and it didn't work because they're in an airplane right now. Luckily, you're in a living room and could join us because I'm like, oh, you know what? Valentine's, let's get Amy on. So excited to see you. And it was kind of revitalizing, too, for me because I hadn't talked to you for a while, and we ran into each other at the
St. Paul show.
St. Paul. Yeah, so it was a ton of fun to have a chance to talk to you, and now we get to have you on the show. There's so many things that you do. When I first met you, you know, I knew that you played hockey. I knew that you were a bass fisherman or just a fisherman, period. You love hunting, and you're a biker. So there's so many things to go through. I'm going to show the bike picture first, because it's a pretty sweet picture, and then you're a hockey player too. So tell us about all of the different aspects of your life. It's very interesting.
I try to, kind of live a different lifestyle, I guess. I raised kids for many, many years. I didn't have those opportunities. I kind of set my own hobbies aside, and I let my kids kind of grow up and do their thing. Well, one of them started fishing, so I decided I was going to fish with him. And then one got into hunting, so I started hunting with him, and I started to acquire a taste for all this. And then eventually when they started doing their own thing, I said, well, Mom's going to go off now and get her motorcycle and play hockey, and which I really enjoy. Which that picture is horrible. I'm doing that picture. It looks like I'm squatting down for a reason, but I was just playing around like a hole on the ice, trying to fish on the ice. It looks funny.
Honestly, I thought it was a great picture. It looks like you're in action flying down the road, and it looks like you got a hood out the back that's blowing in the wind. I think it's a perfect picture. I honestly don't think I could find a better picture, and I love the hockey picture. The only thing you're missing here in that squat is the goalie stick. Other than that, like, you are ready to play hockey. So I was pretty excited to go through all your pictures again. Tell us about the Crappie Chronicles. You had an opportunity to be a guest there with a couple of other gals, and it looked like a ton of fun.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Deb from Outdoors, and then Morgan Blood. The three of us was the first time we all met. Bart decided to, after I convinced him a little, he'll shake his head at me, but convinced him a little bit to have some females on the show. And we were actually doing a shoot for Relevant, and we kind of collaborated and did two things with one stone here. Went out and shoot, and then we fished with those guys. We caught a lot of fish. Those guys are incredible. They're knowledgeable. It was actually really cool to see them in action, and they actually helped us a lot too. I mean, they weren't like you're doing this wrong or you're doing that wrong. They're just like, take what you're doing and correct it a little bit more and what to look for and how to do things. That was a lot of fun. The girls too, I've actually gained 2 girlfriends now that from that whole video. Learned a
It
lot.
looks like you guys had a ton of fun, and you did catch fish. I saw, I think, Target Walleye. Brett McComas posted this today on one of his emails that Bart had a couple of, actually, I think 3 personal bests, 2 which were truly amazing. That hybrid at 16 1/4 at almost 3 pounds, and then the black crappie at 2.6, another 16-incher, and then another 16-incher on top of that. So to learn from those guys, they're out there catching big fish in the Twin Cities, in the metropolitan area. And
it's crazy to learn that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that Crappie Chronicles stuff.
Well, I mean, I can't say where we were, but to stay in the metro area, you would think you would have to go further north. I mean, I always thought, oh, there's no way. I mean, my personal best right now I'm trying to go for is 15 inches. And they're helping me. We tried really, really hard that day. And we were catching more white bass. I swear, if I catch another white bass, it's like catching perch. It's like, come on, I just want my 15-inch crappie. But being in the metro area, knowing that they're here and on the lakes that I live in Elko. So the lakes, like with around me or not that far out of the metro, there are big crappies here. You don't really have to go 4 or 5 hours or go to Cascade or go to Devil's Lake or anything for all these big species. There are in our backyard. So for them to go out and actually teach us what to look for and how to find them, is great to be able to stay local. And that's what we did. So yeah, that was a 100+ fish day.
That is amazing. When the whole show is over, though, the production, the post-production, it's amazing. It's a fun show to watch on YouTube.
Yeah, Pink's amazing too on his cooking. At first, I'm like, what am I eating? And then incredible. How they collaborate together. They do a great thing. We didn't keep 100+ fish, but we might have kept a couple just for ourselves for dinner, but nothing. We're not going to throw them back, so we can catch them again, especially the bigger ones. You always want to teach people to throw the bigger ones back, so those genes stay in the pool and grow bigger. So they're a lot of fun. They're characters, I'll tell you that. That's why I said you got to add some females in there once in a while. And
it was great.
Yeah, it was.
I've been following since day one. I really just fell in love with it. I think I fell in love with the video more than anything, and the way that Bart and those guys put things together. It was so major awesome, and a lot of the drone work just reeled me in, pun intended, and I fell in love with it. And then I watched the episodes with you gals in it. I thought it was great. And I interrupted Kurt. I think he was asking what it was like. What was it like to catch those 100 fish that day? It had to have been amazing, nonstop, almost tiring.
I mean, I didn't catch 100 fish, but I caught quite a handful of them. It was just to sit there and go, I'm on. Everybody's on. It was pretty amazing just to actually sit there and pull all those in, especially the white bass. At first you're like, come on, this has got to be a crappie. Come on, I just want a crappie, and they got their fingers crossed trying really hard for my personal best, but it'll happen. If I did it, then it's like, okay, well, I've accomplished that. Now what's next? So it keeps you going back for it. Makes me really want to what to look for. What am I using? What bait am I using? That kind of thing. And using different lures. We were using a prototype or one of the new clam. Well, at the time, the Tika flashes, we were trying those out, and that was a cat's meow that day, that and pinhead. So a lot of people look at us like, what? I mean, we didn't even bait them. We were just using them without meat on it. So it's great to try things, and especially with those guys, and teach you that you don't have to have meat on it. You can just use your bait, or your lure. It's just how you use it. So a lot of people are against plastics, and a lot of people are like a lot of meat. So it's like, they teach you, the what to use and how to use it.
So without going into too much, what are some techniques you could divulge from that day that you learned new to let the viewers know if they're chasing these crappies?
Well, yeah, the first thing is, I know you have to, if they're finicky, you got to start slowing down. You got to go down a size too. Sometimes I've noticed that. I've gone from sometimes a 3 millimeter or 4 millimeter, and I have to go down to a 2. So, I mean, it's in anything. You have to figure out what they're wanting. If they're super finicky, I'll go down and just slow down my finesse. If they're really hitting it hard, I might go up in size on a jig and just go start jigging, at it. They want it. It depends on how hungry they are. You just kind of got to figure the lake too, if it's clear or dirty, what you got to do for the right lure. So, I mean, there's been times where I've had to change my lure like 10 times just to figure out exactly what they want. So that day they were hitting hard. So we didn't really have to change a whole lot. And we didn't have to use meat or anything like that. Just, we were at like 16th and 3/32, I think we were at that time. So we didn't go anything small. They were hungry. They wanted to hit. So they wanted it.
I'd love to know the magic behind the Pinhead Pro. That Pinhead Pro, there's something odd there. They just catch fish.
Mm-hmm. Well, people say that no, they don't. I have them and they don't work, and I'm like, they do. I'm just telling you, they do. You have to have confidence in what you use. If you don't have confidence in anything, then of course it's not going to work. If you're sitting there trying and it's just jigging it and you're doing this, well, obviously it's not working. Slow it down. They want to see it. Some people don't like the jointed. Some people only like straight. I like the straight. I'm a chartreuse girl. I like the Chronicle colors, like the Reverse Wonder. I just used that one. And I caught my personal best Sunny about a couple of weeks ago. My son and I both did actually caught 10-inch sun gills, and they were plate size. They were really nice.
Isn't it amazing? So, I caught a couple of 11s on Big Stone. I can't believe the fight, because I thought white bass and bass had a fight, but those big bluegills have a heck of a fight, and they are the size of a paper plate.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I first thought it was a crappie, because the lake I was on is known for big crappies, and I was like, what? And I brought it up, and it was a pinhead, the Reverse Wonder bred by the Chronicles, and I had nothing on it. It was plain, and I got it with it, and everyone's like, they just don't work, like we just said, and they do. It's just, you have to have confidence in what you're using.
Yeah, and I think you do, and confidence that just goes to show you know how to use it, and it's really important to know how to use it. Really, it is. And I think, Kurt, I interrupted you again.
Oops, sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I was just going to go to the confidence is key. I've preached that to guys for years, and if you don't have confidence in what you're using, it doesn't matter. I can sit there with a piece of plastic and catch fish all day long, and if you don't have confidence in it, you can't do it. So, it's big time confidence in what you do, and 90% or 60% of fishing is between the eyes. It's mental. And other 40 is actually the fishing of it. So you outthink things, you overthink things. So
well, it's like during tournaments too. It's you get frustrated because it's like, okay, what am I using? Slow down. Think about, again, you got the temperature. What's the wind doing here? What color is the lake? Is it stained? Is it clear? Is it what lure? So, I mean, there's so many different aspects that you're thinking about it. Now I got to have confidence in, am I going to just use plastics? Am I going to use meat? I mean, there's so many different variables, but you got to be wanting to change that stuff too. I'm a plastic girl. So, my big thing is changing colors. It's crazy. I was never like a pink. I never used pink. And I'm like, what? This is too bright. It doesn't work. Now I'm confident in it. And now I absolutely love the color pink.
Yeah, I love pink too. A big single pink hook guy too. Love it that way. Yeah,
pink and gold and the chartreuse are pretty much my colors. Okay.
I can't use chartreuse after my growing up with my dad in Northland, quit the black lipstick jig and started using chartreuse. It was the end of the world, so we don't use chartreuse in our house.
Oh boy, is that kind of like the banana? Don't bring the banana in the boat.
No,
Yeah,
I have them, but chartreuse is the last color I'll put on.
That's actually gold and chartreuse are my ones I was using my last tournament, and that's what they were hitting. So that was a lot of fun.
So talk about your tournament fishing.
Well, it's hard because I have a bunch of tournaments that's coming up. The UPL, the Ultimate Pan Fishing League. It's been tough this year. Our first tournament we couldn't do because of the weather. Obviously, Mother Nature has not been happy with us. We just did one on East Rush. That was a lot of fun, and didn't come in the place that I wanted. But now we have another one. Our next one just got canceled, and we had to move lakes. So we only get to do 2 out of the 4 this year. I did enter the King of Panfish, which Clayton Clutter has. That one's going to be a big one. That's 75 teams going for a lot of money, and excited to do that. Seems like we're the only female team. My girlfriend and I, Diane Scott. Some of my friends think I'm nuts. Like, you're going against all these dudes. Why are you doing that? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Why not?
Women can catch fish as good as men. I think that's kind of the neat thing about fishing. It really doesn't matter how long your hair is. You could still catch fish.
Yeah. I mean, I just decided the UPL, I did it before, this will be my 4th year, and I did it with a girl, Allie. She was my partner. We're the only female team, and we didn't do well. And I just was kind of like, I can't do this against these guys. But I watched and learned. I do have one particular person that I really looked up to and I really watch. And I actually got to fish with him. I won't say who, but I finally got to fish with him. And then it's been kind of cool. He's kind of like a little mentor. And so I decided, regardless of the sex that you are, I'm going to go out and fish. And no one's ever treated me any different.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't put your sex as a handicap. I'd probably put that you haven't been fishing your whole life.
Yeah, right.
Right. It sounds like you started a lot later in life than most of us have.
I did. I joined the group Women Anglers of Minnesota, and about 5-6 years ago, and then I became a youth director. And I started with a Vexilar, a rod, and I did one tournament. And I was like, we came in 8th place with 0.38 ounce of perch. That's how bad it was. The tournament was. And I said, I want to keep doing this. So I just kept learning more and more knowledge, got to know things more. Actually went and did my first, I did an FLW tournament series, the Phoenix series, a bass in open water. That was an eye-opener. But I decided I wanted to keep learning. I wanted to know more. I wanted to teach women. I wanted to teach kids. I wanted to teach actually anybody that wanted to know how to fish or what to look for. It's funny because when I met Shields, my boyfriend will just look at me and shake his head and then just walk in another direction because I see people standing there, don't know what to buy or like, what am I doing? Or do I get this one? And I end up standing there for like 15, 20 minutes. And these people are looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm with Clam, or, I fish quite a bit. And so they're very grateful. So to take the knowledge that I have learned over these years and being able to share it with somebody else actually makes me feel good. And actually the smiles of kids and adults when I'm out on the ice, when they're not catching fish, I'll go over and say, here, let me show you. So it's I've been 5-6 years mostly been fishing.
So honestly, I think you look at a lot of the guys, not everybody is Tom Wynn or Dwayne Chelm, where you come on. I think Dewey, he fished hard for quite a while, but he was still kind of new at the game, and Tom Wynn, jumping into the walleye, and some of those guys are charmed, but I think for most people, they've got to work very hard at what they do, but they also fish a ton.
Well, you do. You have to fish. It's not going to be something like you could just show up and I'm just going to, well, hang on. There are some people with horseshoes, but I mean, you have to pre-fish. It's not easy. I mean, you have to break down a lake. You have to figure out, again, weather, what's going on. Is there weeds? Where's the weeds? What's structure? So, I mean, it's such a learning process that, I'm still learning. Everybody who learns still every day.
Yeah,
Well, if you quit learning, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And someone did tell me, if you're not having fun fishing, then stop.
Yep.
Just be done. Walk away, because then you're eliminating the point of fishing. You're supposed to be out having fun.
Yeah, you can't be mad and crabby when you're out fishing. It doesn't work.
Right. And just like with tournaments, yeah, I didn't place first, second, or third. I did one this past summer. We fished or placed first at a bass little tournament, but it just keeps pushes me more and more. In my first year of the UPL, I was 28th. The second year, I was 21st. The second year, I was, I think, 13th. And then last year, I was 12th with my kids. So it's gonna happen. It will happen one day. So
yeah, and I tell a lot of my tournament anglers, Chris Haynes in particular, he had a heck of a year last year. He got last couple of years, second, thirds, and he was leading one, our sharp showdown, and he was kind of beating himself up when he got second. And I said, dude, when it's your time, you'll know. You won't have to make the decisions. Everything will go right.
mm-hmm.
And he came back the next term to the Governor's Cup and won the thing. Just keep at it, and it's happened.
It does.
Unless you're me and are terrible fishermen, that's why you go run tournaments.
I say if you're crabby, it's not gonna happen. You just gotta have a positive attitude about it and move on. Help. And then one thing about the UPL too is everyone's so helpful. Like, hey, what am I doing wrong? Or try this, or they're not always like, well, I mean, we're all secretive about our holes or where we find fish, obviously, until after we might reveal it a little bit, but it's very hands-on, like, hey, try this lure or try this. So it's a lot of fun, I think, in the tournament aspect of it. It's sad though this year. I mean, we couldn't have as many tournaments. They all had to be canceled. I mean, this weekend I'm going 4 hours north just to go fishing.
Yeah, I was supposed to have an ice tournament this weekend, and they canceled it. So
yeah,
we're pretty much done here in central South Dakota with ice. I mean, most of South Dakota's kind of done with ice, and it's just not safe. And the benefit is I got the river and it's open. We can go boat fishing.
I was just going to say, take the boat out. I think ours is open too. I think pool 4 is open right now too. But yeah, now it's snowing here. We got like 4 inches we're supposed to get today. And people, I hope, are smart enough to stay off the lakes, just down here, especially in the metro area. It's not safe. It's covered.
Oh, now it's going to get worse, right? People go out with the snow covered. You can't see bad ice spots. And
that's what I'm saying.
The snow we got here is super wet, which is not going to help that ice. It's going to sink ice, and it's going to make bad spots in ice. And, so it's just not safe to be out there.
Well, that's why I'm going up north. I mean, I'll bring my wheeler, but there's like 10, 12 inches. So, I mean, they're still really way up there right now.
Well, I talked to Tom Seberg, who's guiding up on Bitter, and he said we're on 13 inches ice. So I may go up tomorrow afternoon or Saturday just to take a peek and see what it's like. He's been driving around out there. He knows where the safe ice is. So I figure an hour or two, at least I go fish a little bit and see what's going on. So other than that, I think our lakes around here, boy, I'll tell you, I'd be afraid to go on Ponset or Sinai. I don't even know Thompson, probably a little bit on the spooky side. But, and when we talk about some of our South Dakota lakes, I think some of our South Dakota lakes have been over harvested a little bit. That's really how I feel. How about the Minnesota lakes for you guys? Are you able to find fish, or did we just get too many people out in 2020 that started fishing and we're just over harvesting lakes? Are your lakes still populated with fish?
I'd say the metro area. I mean, there's a couple lakes around me. They're more like 10.5 inch, let's just say crappies. Before the last couple of years, we're smaller. We're like 7, 8. So, I mean, I think during the COVID, when everybody was out there, pounded it a little bit. I think this year or last year and this year, I think will help a lot because people couldn't get out there a lot. But this year, I mean, there's size to them, but yeah, right. I think they've been overfished in the areas, but the main lake, I mean, like Minnetonka is not, it's just our smaller lakes that people could access around here, couldn't get out on Tonka. It's I guess I want to say you can find the big ones. They're here. It's just there's more small ones.
Well, it is amazing that the big muskie, the big gills, the big crappie, they're there. They are. They're hiding. I'm still there. I've been told there's a 17, 18-inch crappie in a particular lake that it's open now, so I have to wait till obviously spring and the summer for it. But they're there. Muskies are there too. They're northerns.
I mean, I love the fact that more and more and more people are fishing. I really, truly do, because that's what we all do is promote the industry. And I love that fact. But I think the education of you don't need to be the hero on Facebook. You don't need to have a hero shot every time you go out, and take what you need to eat. You don't need to take a limit every day. And that's
what's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's super frustrating to see some of these posts. You got 8 guys with like 200 crappies, which that's more southern states I get, but still to me, really? Unless you're doing a huge fish fry, for a big group of families, I have to educate some people sometimes too. It's like, oh, you got a 12-inch crappie or a 13-inch crappie, throw it back. Keep the 8, 9s, 10s, just enough to make dinner for that night. Half the time I throw my stuff, I'd say most of the time I throw my stuff back unless I'm going to have a dinner, and I take what I need. And some of my friends just look at me like, no. And I'm like, yeah, just throw them back because you want to come back. Do you want to come back to this lake? If you keep pulling them, these genes, the genetics aren't going to stay here. And that's why some of these lakes are just died, because people because they think, oh, I can get my limit today. I can get my limit. All 8 of us can get our limit. It's like, do you really need it? But
and then they don't remember, or they don't think about the fact that it's not like you just order a few more 100 perch or walleye or crappie or bluegill to stock back in the lake next weekend when you come back. When they're gone, and it takes years to build it back up again.
I find it kind of frustrating too. Sometimes the last couple weeks ago, I was out on the lake. There was crappies and perch left out on that lake, just laying on the ice. And I'm just like, what are you doing? But thank goodness. I mean, I see the eagles coming down to eat it and stuff. That's fine. But the whole point of the matter is why? Unless you absolutely destroyed it, hook coming out, or it just
then take it
was
home.
ill.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I know we ran into that on Thompson last year. I think it was. There was a group of young kids from Iowa came up, and they were just throwing these big white bass out on the ice and leaving them. And we were able to rescue most of them, but there were a couple that we could not revive them. But we had some mild success there. So luckily those big things, and they were 15 and a half, 16 and a half. So they're just about that proud angler, so given another year and a half, they're there. And white bass always get a bad rap. And I know they're just not that pretty fish, kind of like the yellow bass. That is an ugly little fish. But, they're a fish only a mother fish could love. But white bass are so fun to catch.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't want to either. I mean, I don't eat it, but the sheep heads was a lot of fun to bring up too. It's like nobody keeps them, but they're like, well, nobody likes them. Just kill them. Just throw them on the lake. And I'm like, no, just can't.
The human teeth thing just kind of.
Yeah. Oh, it's creepy. Oh, they're creepy.
Yeah, it's so spooky. Well, I know we promised about a half an hour because
you're fine.
Because you probably have a date, and I thought, well, what? It's Valentine's Day. Let's have a few Valentine's Day, some VD questions. So, dark and handsome, or silver and sophisticated?
Dark, handsome, or silver and sophisticated? How about just someone?
Or
how about just? Above. It doesn't have to. Are you trying to relate to the two of you?
No, heavens, no. Not at all. No, it just so happens that's coincidental, by the
How
way.
about just someone that's just sweet
There you go.
and fun?
And see, that's what the questions are all about. You don't necessarily have to answer the questions per se that that are there. You whatever comes off the top of your mind, you roll with. So at number 2, chocolates or roses.
Or I want to throw an audible in there, fishing equipment.
Oh yeah, right. There you go.
Chocolates for sure, but I do like flowers every now and then. It doesn't have to be roses. It can be a dandelion from the yard.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, spur of the moment kind of thing.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about
but chocolates are definite.
Favorite candy? Chocolate. Yes, but favorite candy heart saying.
Buy me more fishing lures.
There you go. Good. That was a good ad lib. This one says you're so cool. This one says sweet. This one says gal pal.
Gal pal.
Yeah, this one says hugs with a Z. Rock star. And this heart's broken. And it says nothing. Oh no, it doesn't. It's broken. It says LOL.
LOL broken.
All right. So fancy night out or jammies in a movie.
Who doesn't like a fancy night once in a while, but otherwise I'd rather be on the jammies.
Yeah, we had a snow day here today, so I'm rocking the jammies. I just whatever.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, just relax. I mean, who doesn't like to go out once in a while? And because remember growing up, that back in our years of 20s when the bar scene was a big thing and dance clubs and all that. I miss those nights just to go out and stay out till 2 and have to be up by 5. Oh, remember those dates?
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, I remember those standing on the dance floor.
Yeah.
People at you like, look at him. You have barely bending your knees. Like, yeah, nah.
I do. I miss those. I miss those times. I miss going out, and it's not like you can do that anymore. There's like really nowhere to go.
Yeah, right. All those fun spots. We used to have a blast in the Fargo-Moorhead area. It was so much fun with Old Broadway. You didn't really dance that much at the Old Broadway, but Mixed South and stuff like that. We had so much fun there. And it does seem like that stuff has gone by the wayside. And you go to a bar now and everybody's on their phone. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I try and just put the phone down when we go out. Just put it away. Dinner table, put it away. But yeah, it's a lot. But now going back to my motorcycle times here, I wish last year I didn't get to ride it very much, but this year it'll be a lot more. I fished a ton. I got a boat from somebody. They gave me a 16-foot Lund. It needed a lot of work, and still I have to fix it a little bit. But this year I'd like to get out on it more and ride.
Have you ever made the trip to the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally?
No. I was going to go last year, but I mean, I've been riding for a couple of years, but I'm not a crowd person when it comes to riding. I'm more of the back road, stay away from everybody. It's kind of like fishing. You just kind of avoid the crowd so they don't see what you're doing. But yeah, and then the hockey is, you guys would laugh. I play on a team, which is great. I love my girls. We've been playing together for 7-8 years now. We went from barely skating to now it's like, I mean, I'm not at the women's hockey leagues yet, national hockey league yet, but I'd say I've gotten pretty good over those years. So
it takes a while though, doesn't it? I played hockey when I was a kid. And we played a lot of broom hockey when we went to our church camps and stuff in the winter. But I moved to Brookings, so I would have had probably 12 years, 13 years between skates. And I put skates on thinking it was like riding a bike.
Did you take your skate guards off first?
Pardon?
Did you take your skate guards off first?
Yeah, I did. Well, I'm not kidding you. I could, when I was a kid, we used to roller skate. We used to skate. So, I could cross my legs and I could skate backwards.
Oh, yeah.
I could, you could do all that crazy stuff. And it was so simple. But I hit the ice in 1996 and I thought I was going to die because I hit my head and went, what the? And I got up thinking, well, I must have just stepped wrong. Nope, gone. And then my kids started playing hockey and I had to use a chair to finally get my legs back again. But
to scoot
it's
around.
not like riding a bike. Wow.
Yeah, it takes a little bit.
Yeah.
And
speaking of riding a bike, I owned I had a motorcycle when I lived in the cities. We lived in Lakeville and loved just touring the fancy ritzy homes. And then we'd go tour. We'd go up to the Harley Davidson races up in Brainerd, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Go up to Duluth. And those guys got into all that stuff, riding in the rain. I'm like, yeah, no, you know what? How about 15 miles an hour going through the neighborhoods again? It was so much fun. Just
the back roads. I mean, the back roads, you're not driving 90 miles an hour. You 30, 40 miles. Well, more than that, 55. But just enjoying the moment. You're not on your phone. You're just taking in the fresh air and what's around you, your surroundings, which is kind of the only sad thing about it is just I think I've just kind of geared away from it. It's just people are on their phone. They're not paying attention, especially on the road when there's bikes around. And it makes me mad that I do see that because they're supposed to be hands free, but who follows the rules? But that's what I try and avoid the freeways as much as possible, just because of that situation. I mean, you got to go at 70, 80 miles an hour because why wouldn't you? Because your bike can do 150. Why wouldn't you? But you just can't anymore because you're just worried that someone's just not paying attention and swerve over. So,
boy, it doesn't take much, but a split second and you are in trouble.
Yeah, I've lost a couple friends from it, and it's tough. So
Grandpa called them murder cycles.
Yeah, but that's why I just stick to my ice fishing and my boat more. It looks like.
Oh boy, I get you there. So just let's wrap up. Talk about your season this year. You've already talked about it a little bit. You've got some tournaments coming up. Anything big on the bucket list that you want to do this year?
Honestly, I want to do the FLW series again, the Phoenix series. I've been looking into as a obviously. I've been checking that out, seeing what works. I have to finish my ice season before I can restart because those seasons actually they're starting here at the end of March. So I don't know whether most of the southern states, because I did Oklahoma when I did that Grand Lake. So though I'd have to start looking, but I'd really like to do the Bass series of that. I would just like to try it and see if I really, really would like to pursue it more and more. But mostly that I just want to get out fishing more. I want to learn more, learn. I'd like to catch a muskie. That's my kind of a goal this year.
A great big 50-incher.
I don't care if it's 2 inches. I just want to catch a muskie. I threw for 8 hours one day, and I'm like, no, not even a chase. And I'm like, come on, I have to have something for this. And it's a challenge, but it's got me going. But I also too want to go catch a peacock bass down in Florida.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And then bring it home, hang it on, or at least take pictures and then hang it on.
Yeah, I'll probably take a picture of it. Yeah. But that's kind of my big goals. And then just been having fun with all the pro staffing stuff and enjoying all that with everybody. Great companies. Just got on with Shields and great people. It's been a lot of fun with those guys too.
Yeah, it's great. Well, just run through your partners there and those that you're representing. Kurt's with Shields. I've got Shields on my market affiliate program. So a shout out to Shields. That's fantastic. One of my favorite places, most fun places to buy fishing equipment. I have to admit, I was at Okoboji last Saturday. I think we spent about 2.5 hours in the Fisherman's Factory outlet. Came home with more rods than I needed, but then again, who cares? That's why I went down there.
Right.
So yeah. So what the heck? Well, this Candy Heart says go girl. So we'll go with it. Thank you for hanging with us. I appreciate it. Great to have you. We'll get you back to your Valentine's night. I hope you guys have a wonderful romantic evening.
Blue Bloods and on the couch.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going back to Cardinal. I found Cardinal on Hulu. And it's not bad, so I'm going back to Cardinal.
Well, I'm going to maybe even check out Chicago Fire and see little Kelly Silver Eye for my.
Anyway, well, have an absolutely wonderful spring and
Thanks, guys.
summer, and good luck to you fishing. And thanks for hanging with us. Do appreciate it. Happy Valentine's Day.
You too.
Thanks,
We'll also
Amy.
be see you at the sportsman show on the 16th of March too.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about hitting that one. So maybe we'll
I'll
see
be
you
there.
at the middle of
I'll be
March.
at the show. I'll be doing a seminar on Saturday. I'm not sure what time.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we'll probably see you there.
All right. Bye,
Amy,
guys.
thank you. All right,
Thanks.
thank you
See
very
ya.
much. Amy Munsinger, awesome stuff. Thank you. Oh, yeah,